Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
So dear students, dear friends, we are now going to start another interesting session on what I call the joint family system. This is very unique. It is there in few countries, but still I think when you talk of joint family, India definitely comes into mind. And we are going to look at more the plus side of it. I always like to look at the good side of everything. The usual disclaimer, friends, that whatever I'm an independent director in few companies, I'm a visiting faculty in many institutes, but whatever I'm going to say is purely based on my research, on my findings, and if at all I have any views, if I express, these are totally my personal views. It has nothing to do with any company or any institute. So you already are aware of this, but let us go in a little bit more deeper into it. So a joint family system consists of multiple generations living together under one roof. So you are there, your father is there, your grandfather is there, your grandfather's brothers could be there, your father's brother could be there, sometimes a sister is also there. So it's a huge banyan tree. Now, in the Western world, it is almost unthinkable that people are staying with their father and their grandfather. And the best part is that, of course, when you're a small boy, you'll be staying with your parents. But even when you are 25 plus, you continue to stay with your parents and you continue to stay very happily with your parents. Because when you are in class 1, 5, 10, 11, that time, of course, you are young and the parents are supporting you. But as is the law of nature, that the leaf of a tree will be small, green, it becomes, and then it becomes yellow and it has to fall. That is how the law of nature is. So your father, who was your hero of your life when he was 40, 50, but of course when he becomes 80, it is by the law of nature that he will not have that much strength. So is it not a very good system that this person who was young, he supported this entire family, and today when he's 80 and he's not so strong, his son and daughter are there to support him. Is it not a wonderful system? Don't you think this is better than sending this old man to an old age home where there are only old people? And it's also nice now that let's say this person is 35, he has son and daughters, but the father and mother may be busy, and this your son or daughter, this young man's 35-year-old son and daughter can play with the grandfather and grandmother. So there is much superiority. My heart cries when I see that we are always following the West and we are breaking down our own institution. This is nothing but an institution. The joint family system is nothing but an great institution which was developed in the Indian ethos. So there is a lot of advantage in that. The members are sharing the resources, they are sharing the responsibilities, and they are sharing the decision making. We have been talking in the office that how do you have if you look at the organization, when you are studying as a small boy in school, what is important is that you just study your physics, chemistry, mathematics, social science, English, Hindi, You can study alone, you can have your own private tutor and write in the exam and get good marks. But normally in the office environment, it is always about collectively doing a project. It is about people coming together. So the joint family system is such a wonderful system that because you're staying together with your cousin brother, cousin sister, and there are only limited resources, so you have to learn to share that. So this system that we have, the Indian system, it is actually emphasizing on collectivism over the individualism. Is it not a wonderful thing? So, dear students, dear friends, I want to leave this thought with you. Please explore that why a system which is so much superior, why, in my opinion, under the Western influence, we are trying to break our own system. It is my guess, because many of my friends stays in flats and many of you who are listening to me may also be staying in flats. Today in the modern world, sometimes when you are working in a different city, different career, it is possible. But sometimes within the same city also people break away and want to stay in a flat. There is too much focus on privacy and individualism. I want to leave this question for you. I will not give the answer. The question is, do you really need so much of privacy? Are we not giving too much importance to privacy? Are you aware that we have taken it to such a great level that I was talking to one of my very good friend, and now he was telling that in the West, sometimes when they are going for say recruitment, what we call campus interviews, campus recruitment, you cannot ask the student his grades or marks, because he says that is privacy, that is my private thing and you cannot ask. So we have taken in the West the privacy to such a great extent. Now I agree that we should not probe too much into someone's life, that is correct. But is it also not that you are taking the privacy and staying alone separately to a great level? We know, because I also have friends and you also have friends, that when you actually stay, you break away from the main tree and you are staying in a small flat, and nowadays it is just husband, wife, and maybe not even two children, sometimes there are only one child or no child. And when you are traveling to a different city for a vacation for 10 days, you are always worried that whether there will be burglary in your flat or not. Why is this happening? Because you are staying totally separate. In many cases, in the flats, you don't even know who your neighbor is because of privacy. No one wants to intrude each other, so you don't even know your neighbor very well. In the good old days, not only your very family was closely knit, you had very good relation with your neighbor also. So your neighbors are always there to help you. Don't you think that if this practice is followed, if you inculcate these habits of sharing, caring together, not only will you be happier at your home, but you will also be happier in the workplace. The joint family system has been a fundamental part of the Indian society for centuries, right? It is not something that I am telling about a thing which has happened 25 years, 50 years back. And this has worked very well for centuries. Sometimes I want to leave that question with you, that when a thing has worked very well for centuries, don't you think there is some lot of merit into it? Before breaking something is very easy. But don't you think there is some merit on a thing which is there for centuries? And just because the West tells us we are what is called aping the West. And we think, so from today, can we start believing that the West has strength all right, but they are not superior to us? Our Indian ethos, our rich heritage, can we develop that self-confidence that we are good? We are not saying the West is not good. We are only saying that we are good. And we want to preserve our rich culture and heritage because there is a lot of merit in that. So as you already know, the joint family is about shared values. It is about collective responsibility. It is about unity. And in this joint family, there is what is called the karta, or the head of the family, who plays a crucial role in managing and guiding the family according to dharma. He is not normal in India because age and seniority is a very big thing. So normally the senior most person is called the karta, and he is supposed to be the head of the family and lead the way. We are talking of the joint family, and because ultimately it is about management and business. So we cannot but again explore the Indian business houses, which was actually like one family, right? And I remember when I was in class 7, 8, 9, we used to spend a lot of time with our parents in the dinner table. We'll have together, and our father will tell us many good things, mother will tell us very good things. So I want to share one thing which my father was to tell me. Though he was in government service, but he always told me the virtues of the Indian business house. And when you talk of that, one of the very significant respected house is that the house of the Birlas. And he used to say in the dinner table that how Sri Ghanshyam Das Birla ji played such an important role, not only as a businessman, but also in the freedom movement, supporting the Indian freedom movement along with Gandhiji. And look at it, I'm giving that example so that you leave so different from the West, that it is Mr. Sri Birla's own company, but the company is making motors, but he is not taking the name of the company as Birla Motors. He is naming the company as Hindustan Motors. What is he naming? The aluminium company, not Birla Aluminium, but Hindustan Aluminium. What is the name of the company? Not Birla Rayon, but Indian Rayon. So is it not great that we have been teaching the Western society, and all the successful people say that you are there, above you is the family, above that is the society, and above that is the nation. And here is the example of the Birla family naming the company after their own motherland, their own country. So I mentioned that thing that you're staying with the cousins, you are sharing the teamwork, because in the good old days when you talk of chocolate, you talk of Cadbury's chocolate, and even 50 years back the average middle class family was not so rich that perhaps they could have one big Dairy Milk chocolate, and they were let's say in the joint family there will be 8 or 9 children, he'll be able to buy one for everyone. So what we'll do is, only one chocolate was brought, it was given to one of the child, and he was told to share it. Don't you think this sharing culture, if you actually bring it back to the office, it is such a good thing? And just like the karta of the joint family, if you look at the Indian business houses, sometimes the head, the owner, and that is how the culture will percolate down, that even though there is no definitive HR manual or journal, But let us say one of the employees' son or daughter wants to pursue higher studies, and that may be expensive, and this employee is not able to afford that. So the owner of the company or people down the line, because the ethos are the same, they will fund the employees' children's higher studies. Marriage is a very expensive thing in Indian ethos, Indian culture, because of very big occasion. So because in India the salaries are not always that high. So can you believe that the owner of the company or the people down the line, the senior people, it is not a small amount. They will write not a small gift, they will write a big amount for their employees' marriage or the employees' children's marriage. Everyone can fall sick, anyone can fall sick. And if the employee is falling sick in a multinational company, the rules are very clearly laid down that you are entitled to so many days leave, sick leave, after that so many days half pay, after that no pay. But in this kind of Indian business houses, just like a family, what happens in a family? Suppose there are four people in the family, 4 sons in the family. Now if one son becomes sick and he goes to hospital, he doesn't have to worry because he knows all the expenses of his spouse and his children will be taken care of by the other brothers and the father. It is exactly the same in the Indian business houses. Even though the HR manual might say that you are entitled to only 30 days of sick leave, but suppose some person has fallen genuinely and seriously sick, which can happen to anyone, he will be granted 90 days leave, and he will be given full salary during that time. So it is going much beyond the HR manual, which is the Western culture of very cut and dry. And we know how the Indian business houses have been building and supporting townships. Not only they built the factory, they actually built a whole township around it. There were schools in that, there were hospitals in that, and there are good schools, good hospitals. So basically, these famous Indian business houses have all done such great work. You please do one thing. After this session, you Google, and there are many companies in the West, in America in particular, who are much bigger than our Indian business houses. Please see whether they have built townships and whether they have built schools and hospitals for their employees' benefits. This is a very, very nice thing that our Indian business houses have done. And our Indian business house, we are talking of corporate social responsibility today. But even when it was not a statutory thing that you have to spend 2% of your net profits as CSR, even then, as per the Indian ethos, many of these enlightened business houses, business families would do it on their own to do community development around them. So this is something I want to say, that we are losing it because of global competition. And we have to remember one thing, friends, that because we are colonized by the British for a long time, our entire self-confidence was lost. And we thought that though we are doing things correct, but we always thought that perhaps we are not doing it correct. And therefore we thought, let us change as per the Western thing. But you people are the next future. And now, as you know, friends, that only say 10 years back, India was 11th in terms of GDP in this world. Today, you'll be very happy to know that we have overtaken so many countries in the way, including the British, England, and we are now 5th. And the way the progress is happening, we are going to become, by the grace of God, 3rd very soon. So we are going to overtake Germany also. We are already overtaken France. We have already overtaken Britain, and we are going to overtake Germany and Japan also as per the projections of the World Bank and IMF, and we should become the third largest in terms of GDP. So therefore, friends, you are inheriting an India which is much more stronger, much more prosperous than what it was 70 years back, 60 years back, 50 years back. So my appeal to you is that since India has now started doing economically well, why don't you regain your self-confidence? The whole purpose of this lecture is not only to tell you about the good thing of Indian system, but also to revive back with pride about the Indian system. That is what I am wanting to tell you, request you. So Karta is the head of the family, right? Karta is a typical word in Indian ethos. He is typically the eldest male. Would also be the female in some matriarchal communities are there. The main responsibilities will include, he's the final decision-making authority for welfare of the family, because there are so many people staying in under one roof. So someone like the head of a government, someone has to be the final decision-making authority will stay, because there may be differences between 2 brothers, 3 brothers. How to resolve it? You go to the Karta, and whatever decision he will say, that will be binding on everyone. He will be managing the financial matters, because ultimately what will happen in those golden days, that there are, let's say, this Karta has now 4 sons. It is law of nature that all 4 sons will not be equal, right? Some will earn more, some will earn less, but all of them will at the beginning of the month contribute their entire salary to the head of the family. And he will not make a division as per their earning power, that will divide equally as per the needs. And during, let's say, Diwali or Durga Puja, when it is a community thing, so I think the same shirt or the same sari, same quality will be purchased for everyone, irrespective of whether that person's father or that person's husband is earning more. So basically the idea was to have equality, to resolve the conflicts and maintain harmony with the family. And I feel very happy when I see joint families still living. It has come down, but they're still there. And my heart fills with joy when I see that 4 brothers are still staying together under the same roof. I'm very happy. Because in one way what happens is, it preserves the traditions and the rich cultural values that we have got. Because with the passage of time, the windows are kept open and the winds from the west is going to come in. And you always feel the west is superior. It wants to drift you off your feet. So it will be a Karta or the seniors in this family who will ensure that you remain grounded in the system. And also because they have got much more experience, they have seen much more ups and downs in their life, so they can provide guidance and leadership to the younger family members. The good thing about it is that there is also a legal recognition of the Karta in law. So the Hindu undivided family system under Indian law recognizes the Karta as the legal representative of the family. And the Karta has supreme authority, but he must act in the family's best interest. Because of legal reforms, which is very good, nowadays women can also become the Karta in recent years. This is very good, because as I was telling you in some other session, that in any population, any country, 50% of the population has to be around females, and only the country will prosper if women are given the right, emancipated and given the right position in the society. Then only the country will prosper more. Let us once again look at the specific advantages of the joint family system. Number one, perhaps, or one of the most important, is the social security, the emotional and financial support in difficult times. That's social security. Gone are the days when when the government was the biggest employer 70 years back. There will be government and there will be state banks and government banks, railways, Coal India. So you join and you retire. There was certainty in life. There are large PSUs which were practically semi-government. So like it had a permanence in service. Now, because the private sector has become the dominant employer, and because of competition, today no one can guarantee that if you join a company, you will retire after 40 years from the same company. So everyone is going to have an up and down in their career. So if there are husband and wife, if the brothers are all separated and one person loses a job, it's a very big problem. And though I am always, it's good that the husband and wife are both working, it's a very good thing, and because I'm always supporting the ladies to do. But when both of them are going out, then think of the little child they have. He is left to completely an outsider. Is it not good that when the parents have gone out to work, these little children after school, they can come back and have the security and comfort of their parents, grandparents. So, like the social security part coming back. So here what was happening was that 4 brothers is there, one brother has lost the job. It may take him anything from 3 months to 6 months to get the job. But because there are other brothers to support him, there is so it is like a complete insurance scheme directly in the home. Economic benefits are the shared income and savings. It reduces the financial burden. See, the Indian ethos, we have been talking of so many sessions. It is about being selfless. The problem is happening is that when you're narrow-minded and you think that your spouse is earning the most, but in a joint family, the returns are the same, it leads to uncomfort. But that is not the Indian ethos. If someone is earning more, if someone is more intelligent, it is because of Supreme. As Lord Krishna says to Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita, that I am the strength of the strong, I am the intelligence of the intelligent, I am the wisdom of the wise, I am the beauty of the beautiful. So everything in this universe is nothing but a fragment of the splendor of the Supreme. So from tomorrow, if you think that you're always been standing first in the class with a big margin with the second boy, second girl, don't have any ahankar, because the Supreme has given you intelligence. That's why you're able to stand first. If you are very good looking, if you are very beautiful, no place for pride in the Indian ethos. That beauty is not come to you because of you, but because of the Supreme. And if you have been doing very well in your office and getting high promotions, high salary, it's also a blessing of Supreme. So there is nothing wrong. It is actually maybe good that you share it with others. And why not share with your parents and your own relatives? So the decision making was collective. So many times, we are in an ethical dilemma. We are in a dilemma. Today we don't have enough friends also. And I'm giving the best example. Suppose, in today's, it is called the financialization of savings. More and more people are actually putting money in the mutual fund and the capital market, which is a very good thing. Now imagine if your age is only 28, you have only 5 years of experience, you have only seen the ups. Is it not better that if you can actually go up to someone who is 40 or you're 50, who has seen both the ups and downs of the stock market, so you go up to that person, I'm sure that when the markets come down, it will be much better that you take his advice on how to overcome that difficult situation. So I'm giving an example of the capital market, but in any difficult situation, how to handle a difficult boss, because you are only 26. So your eldest person in the family, the karta, he may be 55, 60. So they have handled this situation, they have weathered the storm. So this is another big advantage, that you can sit down together and take a decision. And as we have been discussing, we have got rich heritage and cultural values, and therefore the preservation of cultural values, the traditions and ethics can only be passed down through generations. As we discussed with the Gurukul system, how do I give my knowledge, everything? It is to be given only through when we are in close contact in the joint family, and there is someone as a karta who is able to discipline all of us. It will be much better. In the previous sessions, we have tried to discuss about, stress management and increasing self-esteem. This was such an important thing. Now, what I try to do is that one session to another session, there is a linkage. And we try to discuss about the joint family system. One thing I would like to put as a hypothesis is that, the joint family system actually is going to leads to reduce stress and increase self-esteem. This is my hypothesis. And I would like you to examine this hypothesis, that, because today when, there are parents are there and there's only one child, and parents are super busy because their career and the work, we have discussed that many times. So both the father is gone to office, he is having lot of deadlines, stress, he comes back. The mother is another office, lot of stress, comes back home with lot of stress, work stress, late because of the work pressure. The child has gone to school, there is a lot of problems, not enough friends, no playground, then again is there only with mobile. So the only friend today is the mobile phone, practically. So you are seeing there are now 3 stressful people in one flat. Now whatever the child wants, the parent feels, let us give him that, so at least he'll be happy for the time being. I must share with you something very practical, not any book. This person is like above 50 and is a very senior position in one of those IT companies. And he was sharing with me that when he sees the younger generation, who are, by younger generation we mean those people who are below 30 now, and the management trainees or the engineering trainees who are coming in, this senior person is telling me that they meet people, the trainees, who have never heard a no in their life. Can you believe it? So in the office, it's the first time that they come and meet the boss who's telling them that this will not happen, ye nahi ho sakta hai. And when you're staying with the parents, if mother says no, father says no, you start crying, throw tantrums, the no will become a yes. But in the office situation, my friends, a no by the boss is a no. So what happens is, this person, because he's never used to hearing no, immediately what will happen is he will get low on self-esteem, and as we know, many times it leads to depression. Now in a joint family system, what is happening is that, like exactly like office where there is limited resources, you're trying to maximize. So in a joint family system, what was happening was that you just talk it out, fight it out with your cousin brothers, cousin sisters, and then and there the matter is settled. If not settled, you go to your father, not settled, go to Karta, and it will get settled. So there is a very big stress buster at your home in the joint family, because you are not staying alone. Because even though your parents may be busy, normally your grandparents are having a lot of time because they are now retired. So they have a lot of time for you. Today there are only 3 of us, father, mother, and that little boy or girl, and all 3 carrying a lot of stress. So basically what happens is, the joint family system is definitely the system which is going to reduce your stress. And whether your father or mother, I think for the good, they tell you पढ़ने बैठो, एग्ज़ाम आ गया है, रिजल्ट अच्छा करना पड़ेगा, रिजल्ट नहीं अच्छा हुआ तो डांट पड़ेगा. But at least in the joint family, you have the grandparents who will always say good about you, and who will try to protect you from your parents, strict parents. Or so there are so many advantages of the joint family system. I definitely implore upon you to examine that. And I think this caring, sharing thing is definitely much better than staying all alone. Actually, we are now so much comfortable staying all alone, that let us say, a real practical thing I'm telling you, let's say your parents are in a city or in a village, and because for your career purpose you have come to one of the larger prosperous cities like Bombay, Delhi, Noida, Bangalore, Pune, Hyderabad. Now what happens is, because you're so comfortable and your flat is so small, that you really are not very comfortable if your parents are again coming and staying with you most of the time. Because we are so much used to this privacy and loneliness. So when life, as I told you, is not only about up, there will be up, down, up, down, up, down. So during those difficult situations of life, I'm asking that question to you. Don't you think if someone elderly is there who's only your parents are always your Shubh Chintak and your Margdarshak. They are the one person in this world who will always want your good. Even when they are 40, even when they are 50, when they are 80, when they are 90, will always want your happiness. So don't you think, one is your duty towards your old parents. That is one thing. Second thing I'm saying is, they're taking advantage of their wisdom. Wisdom will come only with grey hairs. You can be intelligent at a young age, but if you have not seen the downs of life, you will not have wisdom. And wisdom is something which can be transmitted from one generation to another generation. So I'm leaving this thought with you. I am not here as a judge. You have to take the own decisions of your life. I am just putting forward those things because I have only one objective, that is to see you more success, because you're spending so much time listening to me, giving your most precious time. So my 1-point program is to see you more successful, see you more happy. And it is my confident belief that this can be done through the Indian ethos, the rich Indian ethos. Only thing I want you to be a bit patient, to understand it and to study it carefully. I have only spoken about the good things about the joint family. but there are also challenges faced. One is the generation gap. Everyone, a generation gap conflicts, difference in thoughts between the elders and the youth. I must tell you about this very interesting example without naming him. He is today one of the most successful large owner of a very large company. I have myself heard him saying that what's the difference between your generation and your father's generation. Now his father had started this company from small, made it very big. So he has inherited this company and he has made it big. Now he's around say 60 years, 65 years. So he is now the next generation is coming in. So he has asked, what is the big difference? There's always a generation gap, right, between the father, son, and now the son has become big, the next generation. So he says, I could never ever tell my father that, Dad, you don't get it. But today my son, he always tells me, Dad, you don't get it. Now it is true that the current generation will be exposed to some new technology, many new things in the social media. But again, I am reiterating, greater exposure to, social media or seeing some videos on the mobile phone is not going to make you wise. I want to tell my young friends and students here that just because you can book a movie ticket or a show ticket faster on the mobile phone, just because you are faster on the mobile with two hands and order food faster on the mobile, please don't think that because you're faster with your fingers on the mobile compared to your father, that you have also become more wise than him, that you are more ahead of him. Please do not think like that. I know that you can type in the mobile much faster. I know that you can adapt to ChatGPT and generative AI faster than your father or grandfather. But believe me, that does not mean that you have become more wiser than your father or your grandfather. So there will be a generation gap, there will be a conflict, and this is not for you. Every generation thought that they are better, and we always want. That is how the civilization progresses. That is, the next generation is better than us and is better. So that's how the civilization progresses. So there is nothing wrong in that. But don't think that you are good in everything better than the earlier generation. So please take the good things. And again, one day, today you are 25, but friends, you will become 65 after 40 years exactly. If you are 25 today, it is not hypothetical. It is not probabilistic. After 40 years, you will become 65. After 60 years, you will become 85. You will also become old one day. So think of that, and that will help you to bridge the generation gap and to have an empathy. A lack of privacy, big problem, because all of us want to have our own little flats, our own, mobile phone, own television, own bed. We don't want to share anything with anyone now, right? And as I was mentioning, that if there are 4 brothers, if your father had 3 brothers, it is quite likely that all 4 of them will not be earning the exact equal salary. It is quite possible that one brother may be lucky or more talented, and therefore, he will be able to earn more. So maybe he may start thinking that, I'm earning more, but the burden is falling more on me. The word you think is a burden. But, it is so funny that in all these schools now, it is quite fashionable to take your school children to old age homes. And the number of old age homes are increasing very disproportionately. But in that old age home, there are people, grandparents of their age, who actually have son and grandson, but they are staying in the old age home. So my request to you is, it's absolutely all right for you to go to an old age home, but how about spending and first caring for your own parents, for your own father's father, father's mother, mother's father, mother's mother, before you take care of old age home people. You must do that. But how about beginning that same amount of empathy and love right at your home that is most needed? West, we have to respect them for the innovation, for giving us the magnificent 7 companies, which is the Apple, Amazon, Netflix, Nvidia, Alphabet, Meta, etc. Yet, again reiterating, that does not mean that we start respecting their culture also. So, coming back, I always believe in seeing the strength of the Indian ethos. There is a lot of strength of the joint family and Karta system. It's a unique aspect of the Indian culture, promoting unity, stability, and shared responsibilities, exactly what you would want in a good company. Despite the modern challenges, the values of collective welfare and leadership remain relevant even today. And a well-functioning joint family under responsible Karta, it will ensure the prosperity and well-being of all members. Here, with great authority comes great responsibility. So it is also incumbent on the Karta to be a good leader and to be a good servant leader. So that brings us, linking it up, we now move to servant leadership. When I talk of leader and I ask you to draw it graphically, in all probability you will draw a pyramid with the leader at the top, the number 2, number 3 persons, and like this, and the lowest people in the organization. Now in servant leader, suppose if I tell you, I'm asking you to think, how about inverting the pyramid? And you make the leader at the bottom of the pyramid, and the leader, instead of looking down and giving orders, he is now trying to pull every system up. Are you understanding? So the leader is at the bottom, and because he is superior, he is trying to pull the whole system up. So that is what is a thing of a servant leader, where the leader's primary goal or the Karta's primary goal is to serve other people. It focuses on empowerment, well-being, and growth of employees and communities. I think it was introduced, this term servant leader was introduced by Robert Greenleaf, but is also found in ancient scriptures. And when you talk of ancient scriptures, first name comes as Bhagavad Gita. So you see, Krishna has nothing to get from Arjun. He is Krishna, Lord Krishna is all powerful. So the word is selfless. Why such a good mentor to Arjun is because there is only one objective for him, is to establish dharma, to establish righteousness. So he is actually advising Arjuna all the time so that he is in the path of truth, dharma. That is what it is. If you look at Ramayana, Lord Rama himself, he is the prince, the eldest son of such a big king. But why we still remember Lord Ram is because he led his people with all the humility and all the duty. And as we know, we call the word Ram Rajya. We say कि अब Ram Rajya नहीं रहा. So what is Ram Rajya? That is the ultimate ideal thing basically, where the king always thought how he will serve and make the praja or the people there happy. Equality is there, and no injustice will be done. That's what is Ram Rajya, that if there is a conflict, it will get resolved in a very, very equitable way, so that both the parties feel, okay, we have got justice. Today we are always telling that I did not get justice from the system. So though we are trying, and we have done very, very good work in the last 75 years of independence, but so there is so much to learn from the Indian scriptures, from Lord Ram, who led with so much humility and always duty coming first. He was never telling arrogance that I am the king, I am the king. He is only as a servant leadership is following, though he was the king. And of our father of the nation, Bapu, Mahatma Gandhi, Gandhian leadership as you call it, is a very, very service-oriented leadership. What are the key traits of a servant leader? How do you know that this guy is really the servant leader? How do you become a servant leader? Which is, in our opinion, I leave it to you. Always will be plus and minus, but suppose you feel, okay, we are talking of servant leader, you want to become one. Let's say, how to become? What are the traits? So number one is empathy. This word is an English word. It is meaning understanding and supporting the team members. You have to understand and always be though you are the number one, but you are always going to support your team members. Though you are the leader, but I as a member must feel that you are the leader. I can go to you with my problem and I will get support from you. When I go to you, I'll get a solution from you. And you will really try to do it in a nice way. I will not be punished if I go with the problem for you. Listening, you are the leader, so I am a member. I know if I go to you, I can freely talk to you. I can have an open dialogue with you. And though you are the leader, it is your company, but because I am working with you for 5-6 years, there may be certain things I as an ordinary person may also think in the company that, sir, something better can be done. So I take an appointment, go to you, because you are encouraging feedback. So I can freely go to you, you are having an open dialogue with me, and I am saying, sir, can we do this in this particular way? And suppose you say, this idea is very good. Can you imagine as an employee what it will do to me? I'll be so happy that my idea, what we want a good salary from the office, and second is we want to be valued in the office. We want to be happy in the office because you're spending so many hours in the office. Everyone wants to contribute, not I, everyone wants to contribute to the office. So basically, if the leader is one who is actually encouraging dialogue, he is encouraging ideas from others. So instead of only his idea, now he is getting ideas from so many other people. Is it not better? That is what is the thought. I am leaving it to you. So please encourage feedback. Please encourage open dialogue. Please do not think that you are Mr. Know-all. Self-awareness, Indian ethos, all of us will have strength and weakness. So please recognize not only your strengths, but also your weakness. And when you have people around you, that weakness will be covered, because if you are good in marketing, it is unlikely that not only you, anyone can be good in marketing, finance, operations, strategy, HR, systems, technology. So what is happening is, what's a good leader? That he is able to take support from other people and make it into a nice blend. Now, as a leader, he has an idea. So the McKinsey's 7S framework talks of shared values. And in the Indian ethos, we say, can you lead by influence? One is force, because anyway you're the leader, you're the boss, so you have a lot of authority. But we are saying that is it always necessary to lead by influence, by force? Can you not persuade other people? Can we tell your subordinates, okay, can we do it like this? Instead of saying do it like this, can we say, Mr. So-and-so, can you consider to do it like this? Is the meaning the same? You're the boss. So whether you say do it or say can you consider do it, is the same thing. But can you be nice to people? Because you also as a leader want the best for the organization. Please believe that everyone who comes to the office and works here, he also wants your organization to prosper, right? There has to be a commitment to growth. If you are stagnant, so basically you help others, build a community around you, create a collaborative approach, सबको लेके चलना सीखिए, create a collaborative approach. So I thought, it's best that we put in a tabular form. There are some parameters, some aspects we would put it, and we'll compare in everything the traditional leadership versus the servant leadership. So if you look at the focus, the normal leader is all about power and control. He wants to have power. I am number one. I am the most powerful. The servant leader is all about service. He's trying to serve the organization and serve people around him and take everyone along and grow. Decision making, top down. I know everything. Don't give me any ideas. I'm everything. Just carry out everything. Whereas in servant leader, it will be more participative. Employee role, I am the boss. All of you are going to follow me. Servant leader, I am just one of the leaders. I am the first among the equals. All of you are good. So I am the first, but among the equals. Leadership style, it is command and authority. In a servant leadership, it is like the father figure in an organization. He is more like a coach and mentor. The organizational impact will be rigid, whereas in servant leadership it will be flexible and collaborative, right? So as we come to the end of the session, right, we have discussed the virtues of Indian ethos. We have discussed the one aspect was the Hindu undivided family, or basically joint family, the Karta system, and a new aspect of leader, the servant leader. How can a leader who is servant, but he is guiding us, collaborating with us? So again, I've done this session with a lot of love and affection. So one is you gained a lot of knowledge on Indian ethos. The idea is please develop self-confidence on Bharat, on India, because we are one of the fastest growing economy in the world. You as an Indian citizen, develop self-confidence in yourself and try to believe that the Indian culture and heritage is very rich and you are going to take it forward. So Jai India, Jai Bharat, Jai Hind. Thank you.